In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about how our higher destiny or our soul's purpose is formed. I've been doing a little bit of research recently into it, and it's always been an aspect to spirituality that absolutely fascinates me. So I just wanted to share with you a few thoughts, around this subject. So, I think you often hear people say things like, well, if there is a God, then why is there so much suffering? Why do we have to suffer in our lifetime? And only recently I had a friend come up to me in a supermarket and explained to me that she was really upset because a kind of someone who she considered very spiritual, a complementary therapist, but also quite a spiritual woman by all accounts, who'd helped her and her family over the years, had kind of become ill and died recently, and my friend was really struggling to reconcile herself to the fact that this woman was very joyful and loving and peaceful and of service to others, and yet she had this illness and died, and she couldn't understand why, and I understand that there is a lot of suffering around that, but it's kind of been kind of discovered to me or shown to me, probably not explaining myself very well, but how this comes about, in that our soul chooses these struggles before birth. So I've always known and been aware that we choose who we're going to be born to. We choose who we live our lives with, and we kind of reincarnate or come back, as it were, over many lifetimes with the same souls, in a different way, in different roles. But I've always understood that and felt that, because sometimes you could be with someone and you meet someone for the first time and you feel like you've known them forever, or you have certain members of the family or friends that you have a kind of a bit of a weird dynamic going on. You don't understand why, and this is because you've had unresolved stuff from past lifetimes together, and that's how I believe and understand it. So we choose to come back for different reasons. Sometimes your soul wants to experience different lifetimes, different circumstances. It may want to be of service to others in some way. It may want to heal past life wounding as well. So it will be stuff that's unresolved in a different lifetime, previous lifetime, that's come through and needs to be resolved, or the soul feels it needs to be resolved in this lifetime. So what I mean by, so as we go on, I'll be talking about soul groups and spirit guides, and I want to kind of distinguish between the two so you know what I mean by them. So our soul group is like and we all have one, is like a group of people or their souls that come together over different lifetimes, and we're all at this, within our soul group, we are all at a kind of similar evolution, as it were, awakening in our spirituality. And we come together over different lifetimes, but in different roles. So we may be best of friends, worst of enemies, mother, daughter, man, wife, however that is, and however it has to be. And we work through whatever we work through to learn from each other. But we also have spirit guides. And in another video, I know we've talked about how to connect to our higher or spirit guides. Now, these spirit guides are non-physical beings, very evolved, that are with us, before our birth, and then throughout lifetime guide us in different ways, whether we choose to listen or not. But our spirit guides are with us before our birthing, and they help to kind of create what we call a pre-birth plan. So within that are planned our struggles, the challenges that we have to go through in order to grow, how we die, when we die. And I think it can be as precise as that, which is what I hadn't really taken on board before, or appreciated, as it were. And this is what, we call it a soul plan, or our higher purpose, our higher destiny comes out of that as well. So, we all have a pre-birth plan, but obviously we all have free will as well. And it's whether we choose to opt into that pre-birth plan, although they, they apparently most of us do. But we also can deviate from that without using our free will, but knowing that when we deviate from the plan, the universe will get us back on track in different ways, and that's when the suffering comes in. These really hard lessons come in and really hit us hard sometimes to get us back on track. But I think even if we're on our plan, if we're on track, we still get those challenges. We, maybe not so hard, but we still need those challenges to grow spiritually and to awaken. Sometimes souls can take on too much. They have a really, really hard life. We all know people that it almost seems relentless, like it's one thing after another. And I feel that's something that's unresolved in a previous lifetime that they've wanted to resolve in this lifetime, but maybe taken on almost too much that they should have done or was advisable for them to do before they birthed. But they feel they owe it to that soul that they were probably not very nice to in the previous lifetime. They want to show that they do love them unconditionally, and yet it's very, very difficult for them to do that. But in essence, we are here to do and learn whatever we need to learn, and these come in the shape and form of those heartfelt emotions of compassion and joy and love, unconditional love, patience, empathy, all those things, or virtues, or call them what you will, are things that we work through in our lifetime. So we may take 2 or 3 aspects or 2 or 3 of those heartfelt emotions that we work towards achieving. That's what our purpose is, and we choose and plan our struggles accordingly so that we can learn those virtues. And I do feel, like I said, some people really do get stuck. They take on too much, or sometimes get so stuck. They're so in their struggle that they can't manage to distance themselves from it and really see what's truly going on. So they don't see the patterns of circumstances setting up. They're in this kind of victim mentality. I'm sure we all know some people that are like that. And it's very hard for them because they don't see the bigger picture, I guess. It is hard. And I think as well that souls choose, spirit chooses, our souls choose to come back as well to this planet, because it's kind of seen as a big school. I think for them, that they're not used to these kind of dense and negative feelings. So they come back to experience that, and because that's why they'll really understand who they truly are, and also value what they have in other realms. They have these higher frequency feelings of joy and love and peace, and that's all they have, that's all they know, and that's all they experience. So they love coming back to Earth in a way because it's so dense, and they do a lot of learning here. So I also wanted to cover the question of, why children? Why do we choose to have children that die tragically young, or we come back? Some souls choose to come back as children that die, at a very young age, which is tragic. I couldn't even begin to imagine that if that happened to one of my 2 children. It must be so hard. And you think, well, why would your soul agree to that? Because beforehand they're showing glimpses of that life and how they're going to feel, and how they're going to not react, but how they're going to experience that, but still opt in. And I feel that the soul that agrees to go it's as far as they wanted to go, because obviously the souls are together and they agree all this before they're born, before they're birthed. So they agree that that's as far as they want to go, and the ones that are left, the family or the friends, whoever they are connected in that lifetime, are the ones that choose to work through those feelings of grief, which is a very, very difficult emotion to master. So that's how I understand it. And also knowing that if we don't master or learn a particular aspect, something like unconditional love or empathy or patience, one of those virtues, then it doesn't matter. There's no judgment around it from spirit. It's just, okay, let's try again. We'll try again in a different lifetime. We'll be presented with different circumstances with a similar theme to help us learn those lessons. And if we don't, well, we don't, and that's it. I think it's really helped me to have this kind of higher understanding around it. You know, because I think some of these struggles that we go through can be so intense, so difficult for us. You know, so it's good to have that higher understanding around it, and just remember to try and keep ourselves light. You know, we've all heard of the law of attraction, where we magnetize more of that to ourselves. So, you know, just keeping our actions, our words, our thoughts, our feelings as light as possible, of a higher frequency, so we attract more of that back, and that will help. It won't get rid of the struggles, because we need that struggle to grow. We need those struggles, but it will help make things maybe a little bit smoother. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to share, comment in the box below, or like. Thank you. Blessings from the Whisper Tree.